everybody want to go. Oh no, no. Let me do it harder. Let me dance and misbehave. Watch facts on up. Sweet music in the brain. Let me do it harder. Let me dance and misbehave. Sweet music in my brain. Yeah, yeah. No, we young and bad. Cause we too dynamic. Cause we party hard. Yeah, we too dynamic.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All righty then, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning to you once again. It's now 21 minutes after 7 o'clock. It's a Monday morning, and this is how we do it right here as we kickstart your Monday morning here in SVG. All right, alongside me, Roleza. Good morning.
Morning, Maka. People, Maka back. All right, at the time that you're all people are expressing, hoping that you get better soon and all of that. So, folks, Maka is back.
I get in there. 85%.
Just in time for Carnival.
Just in time for
the culmination of Carnival, all right?
Yeah.
He makes sure he gets sick first, so that for the whole Carnival season, he could be good to go.
Yeah, so correct.
All right, let me say, your second mommy met me on Friday.
My second mother.
Yeah, so she told
I have
me
a lot of second mother.
Well, she didn't give me her name. She just told me to tell you your second mother says hello. All right, so that's for you to sit down and figure out.
Oh, you could tell me off here who's the second mother.
She didn't give me her name, you know. She just told me tell Maka his second mommy says hello.
Okay.
All right, so that's
I have so much.
That's from Maka. Well, that's good. You are a blessed man.
Blessed man. I have so much.
You are a very blessed man. All right. And let me also say good morning to Richard. I think Richard is his name. The person who I met when I was coming out of Miss Kelly on Friday in Clear Valley. So good morning to him as well. And good morning to everybody. Right. It's another day above ground. And no matter what we're going through, there's always a day to be hopeful. All right. A day to be hopeful. So, yeah.
Correct. All right. So, what we have this morning, it's a weekend. What we have this morning.
All right. So, we know we just came off of the weekend, and I think you wanted to touch on some things. I'm not sure if the Rural Carnivals are Bacchanal Bay.
The Rural Carnival already touched on the Rural Carnival, Bacchanal Bay.
How was it? So you went in person?
No, I didn't go. I didn't go. Yeah, I passed the era.
Oh, so you mean I thought even you passed through?
And the era was, I was expecting a bumper crowd. Era. Yeah, I was expecting a bumper era, but seems to me like, I don't know.
Yeah. Interestingly, Crystal interviewed Minister Cupid when he was there, and he also kind of shared the same sentiments where he thought that the crowd was going to be a bit bigger because he came around the halftime segment where they were going to do the soca part of the competition.
By the way, what time the show starts?
It was slated to start at 2
o'clock.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the raga part of it probably started maybe 3-4. I would have to look back and see what time, but it didn't start
actually,
at 2.
That caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting the show to start so early.
Yeah, I think based on what Rodney was saying, it was it's supposed to be like a whole, not just Rodney, but the element of it was supposed to be like a lime. A lime, right? Okay. So included in the lime, because they had like beach activities. I noticed at certain points, like they had some bouncing thing for there for children, and like volleyball. So it was supposed to be like a whole beach scene type of activity, so those things will happen. And then you had the elements with the raga soca and the soca competitions.
I wonder if people gravitate to that.
You mean the other parts of it?
In terms of, going so all at a show.
Yeah, I think that's the thing because
I mean, persons go all at the all inclusive, but
well, this wasn't an all inclusive, and I know most persons tend to leave home to go to these type of events a little later, maybe like around after 4 or 5 o'clock when the sun, is looking to go down. But that was the time it was slated to start. So.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was the time. I mean, it caught me by surprise when I go onto social media and I saw it already in progress. I said, wow, okay.
Yeah, but remember today's a work day, so you really can't do a lot of these things so late. So let me just say good morning to Nicole. She's entered the room. So good morning, Nicole.
Good morning. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. Forgive me. My headphones, I don't know what's going on with them. Anyway, you all could hear me well, right? Good morning, St. Vincent.
Loud and clear.
And everyone far and wide listening. Maka,
good morning.
Good morning, darling. How are you feeling?
85%. 85.
Win that lotto, boy. Win that lotto.
And then all will be well.
So people think. I hope you feel 100 by Carnival.
Boy, I hope so as well.
Okay. Right. All right. So let's just start this quickly. Just me.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So So just to give. So you looked at any of it yesterday?
Just a little bit of it, not much.
Okay. All right. So I looked at both the raga and the soca elements, parts of the competition. Right. It was a little bit disheartening to see that there seems to have been some technical issues for the raga part of the competition, right? And I find that sometimes the raga artists tend to feel as if enough effort doesn't go into their section of the competition. And of course, I do not think that it was a deliberate thing in terms of having the technical issues, but it was just a little bit unfortunate on their end that those technical issues were happening, right? I in terms of the entire show, I actually enjoyed it, right? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know that there were some persons who asking, what certain people doing there and so forth, but you had the mix of new entrants, as in brand new to soca music. You had that mix of those persons there, along with seasoned artists who were performing, right? So for the raga parts of it, I did enjoy it, right? Who stood out for me? For the raga, let me see something. Let me look at my list back again.
I want to know about the turnout. How was the turnout?
Well, that's the thing. I wasn't physically there, so I would have to go based on what you said. And I mean, they did pan to the crowd at times, but it was only sections of the crowd, not like a whole aerial shot of who was there, right?
You also mentioned that something that Minister Cupid said.
Oh, that it wasn't as full as he thought it was going to be, which was the same point that I think that you were making, right? So for the raga soca parts of it, I suppose who stood out for me would have been El Punk and Key Currency. Now I have a thing, right? So how we've been having this whole discussion about Fireman and Skinny going in for the soca part and defending their crown, right? There was that whole conversation last year about them winning and who was going to defend the crown. Now, I actually came across a similar situation here with Key Currency and El Punk. They are not a known duo, but we're not having the same conversation with them if they were to win the raga title. You catch?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not having the same conversation because they are not a known duo. So, it came back to a conversation that something that Rodney said on Friday. He said, well, collaborations have always been happening. And this is a case in point, but because it's not a Fire and Skinny type of conversation, it is only yesterday that occurred to me that is the same conversation that could be had if they happen to win. Who would defend the raga crown next year?
Collaboration is always happening, but I'm wondering if it's happening at when somebody won.
Right. So if they win in the raga soca, we could be asking the same question: who's going to defend next year? So it was just
because this is a thing that happened recently that persons collab a song and they won. I can't remember in years gone by persons collab a song and won, and you know what I mean. It's always one person,
right?
So
yeah. So
I mean it's ticklish, but
yeah. So I mean we're gonna see how it goes, right? So that is it for the raga soca.
So my question is, who's going to defend the crown for soca monarch, the power?
We're still waiting to hear how that is going to be dealt with. As I said, Rodney called in Friday and he discussed it. So so we're waiting to see what CDC says with regards to that, right?
Okay.
So that was the raga elements of it. Several persons did stand up, but I'm not going to go through all of it, right? And in the soca monarch part of the competition, we had persons like what's his name, Icon, coming back into the competition, right? And of course, there's a song, Sui, this song from North Leeward. Now I'll tell you the honest truth, right? When I heard this song the first time, I couldn't figure out what it's singing, right? Because part of the song, I think I hearing what I hearing, but I wasn't sure. So a friend of mine from North Leeward actually had to quote unquote translate or interpret the song for me yesterday because I really couldn't figure out what they were saying. But I think this is a creeper, right? I honestly think that this is a creeper, and it goes back to, the elements of our soca monarch competition where it's just vibes, right? We just want the vibes. But one of the things that I am very concerned about is that last night I realized that a lot of the songs just had like a verse and a chorus, right? So to do the competition in the 5 minutes, it worked out perfectly fine for them because they sang what they had to sing, they got it over with and done with, and they left the stage.
Okay, but so every artist have 5 minutes to perform?
They had the 5 minutes, right? But what it is that concerns me a little bit is for soca monarch nights, given that some of these songs don't have a whole lot of substance to them, right? Are they going to be able to utilize the full time for the competition and not be repetitive and not be redundant and not end up being boring in a sense where we feel that it's just the same thing that we're hearing over and over, right? Because the songs don't have a whole lot of substance to them, So I'm curious to see how some of them are going to perform. Who stood out for me in this one, though, was Jasper YMC, because he went into full character based on the song that he was singing, which is Rum Island, right? Not that he's the only one to stand out, but he's the one who comes to the fore of my mind. So I
guess soca monarch have a longer time, right? It's like
I think so. I think it's about
minutes.
I think it might be 10. I think it might be 10, So it would just be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I mean, they gave a good account of themselves as artists, and I really did enjoy the show. So it's left to be seen how the judges end up filtering down who makes the final cut. So yeah. All
right.
All right. So we wanted to do the Baygon thing, but I think we probably leave the.
We could quickly touch on it.
Right. So we noticed that the RSVGPF, so the Royal St. Vincent Grenadines Police Force, have confiscated items during the rural carnival activities. They've done some seizures, right? And one of the things that we've seen is Baygon. Now, I'm saying Baygon in quotation marks because, as Vince's, we call all insecticides Baygon. But it could be Baygon, it could be Bop, it could be whatever else, right? But they've confiscated a lot of these insecticides. And I suppose it always comes back to that question of how are we partying in SVG, right?
We do party normal.
We do party normal. And not partying normal.
You have a problem with the Baygon? You have a problem with the Baygon?
I personally don't have a problem with it because I am not down in the crowds where persons would be running up and down and lighting it, right? I don't have a problem with it.
The only thing actually I have a problem with is the scissors. I mean, the mask. I mean, I don't have a problem with the mask. I don't really have a problem with the Baygon, but I don't know if persons get hurt when, when persons are partying and, persons like this Baygon. I'm not sure, but.
So the thing with the scissors, right? We know in most cases, it probably, okay. Many of them use it for weed, to chip up weed, right? That is what many persons walk with it for. But I can understand the police taking those because it can be used as a weapon, right? So I have no problems with that. But I suppose the thing with the use of the Baygon or the insecticide is that whenever we are promoting Vincy Mass or we're promoting the part of us not partying normal, you always see clips of the Baygon and the lighter, right? To show that this is how we party, this is how we.
I saw someone referring to the Baygon when Aisha Speed was here.
Yes.
So
so
to me, it's in our culture. So, I mean,
it's in our culture. And I know that at 1 year, the CDC, they try to have like a section for those persons who wanted to do it, right? So that you don't completely eliminate it from the activities. But persons do have to be responsible, because many times that I'm always fearful of maybe one of the big flags catching fire, right? Because from my vantage point, it always looks like they're too close. But, sometimes people know what they're doing and sometimes people don't. And it's not just that as well, but it's the insecticide. When you spray it, you're going to smell it. If it's plenty of them, you're going to be smelling it. Whether or not you're down in the crowd with persons, you are going to be smelling it, right? So I don't know how it is we're going to find a balance between this, but a balance has to be sought. And I don't know. I don't know what other approach they could use.
If the police are taking away the Baygon from the Royal Carnival, I mean, it's a decision made in terms of.
But that's the thing. They've always,
carnival events. So.
Yeah, I think they said that it's not allowed, but we see in some cases where it is been happening. It has been happening. So I don't know how we're going to strike that balance, right? Because, yeah. All right, so we are going to step on out at this time and head directly into this morning's traffic talk.
Nothing else sounds as good as